What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Trade for Yourself podcast, where my mission here is very simple. I just want to help you learn how to trade and invest in the stock market for yourself. So make sure you please like, please subscribe, please listen to this episode from start to finish. I promise you, you will not regret it. Please note that anything discussed in this episode is not financial advice, so please do your own research before investing into any stock. Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks valued at up to $3,000. This is what I need you to do. If you want some free money to start your portfolio, I need you to click the link in the description of this video. I need you to click that link, open you up a brokerage account, deposit any amount into that brokerage account, and Webull is going to give you up to 12 free stocks valued at up to $3,000. Look, I know you've been waiting to start your portfolio, so click that link, deposit that money, get that free money to help you jumpstart your portfolio. In this episode, what are we going to be talking about? Talking about how to use Chat GPT to help us become millionaires, right? The biggest question that I get with new investors that get into the stock market, they always ask, how do I know how to pick a stock? How do I know what a good company is? How do I invest into a good company and allow that good company to generate returns? So I'm going to show you how I've been using Chat GPT to help me utilize a cheat code, tell you how to verify it, and utilize Chat GPT to help you start investing in the stock market. Let's get into it. Okay, everybody. So I'm really finna show y'all how to use Chat GPT to really truly help you, use AI to help you be able to leverage these situations. And so the prompt that I asked Chat GPT was, what are the best performing stocks from the last 10 years? And so Chat GPT gave me 10 stocks that were performing well around the last 10 years. And so let's go through these 10 very, very quickly here. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla, Alphabet, Netflix, Adobe, Salesforce.com, and PayPal Holdings. So these have been historically very, very good companies over the last 10 years. And so, yes, these are good companies. But the next question that I asked Chat GPT was even more critical, because not only do I want to know about the companies that have withstood the test of time, I also want to know about the companies that are doing the best right now. Okay, so the next question that I asked Chat GPT was, what are the largest ETFs on the stock market? Now, the largest ETFs on the stock market by assets under management are number 1, SPY, number 2, IVV, number 3, QQQ, number 4, VTI, and number 5, VOO. Now, there are similarities between 3 out of the 5 of these stocks. 3 of these 5 stocks track the S&P 500 index. So what is an ETF? An ETF is an exchange traded fund, and an exchange traded fund holds a collection of stocks, right? When we are talking about assets under management, and we're talking about these 5 stocks here, the billionaires, the institutional investors, the people that are putting their money to work, the most money to work is being put to work in these particular ETFs. And these particular ETFs are being utilized to purchase and track specific companies in the S&P 500, in the NASDAQ, et cetera, et cetera. And so again, remember, I asked Chat GPT what were the best performing stocks over the last 10 years. I then asked Chat GPT, what are the largest ETFs on the stock market? So the next thing that we need to think about is, what particular stocks that have been performing well over the last 10 years are still in the top 10 of the S&P 500 right now. Let's look at the top 10 of the S&P 500 right now. Okay, y'all, so here's the top 10 holdings of the S&P 500 ETF, ticker symbol SPY. We've got Apple, we've got Microsoft, we've got Amazon, Nvidia, Tesla, Alphabet Class A, Meta Platforms, Berkshire Hathaway, Alphabet Class C, and United Health. So we see some consistency between the stocks that have been performing well over the last 10 years and the stocks that are in the top 10 holdings, the largest stocks on the stock market right now. And so when we look at this, this is what we need to look at when you're asking yourself these questions. What stock should I be looking at to invest in, right? Number one, what stocks have been performing well over the last 10 years? Number two, what are stocks that are the top 10 holdings in the entire stock market? And then number three, we need to ask Chat GPT one more key question. One more key question we need to ask Chat GPT before we begin moving forward. So again, remember, when I opened this episode, I told you all that the main question that I get from new investors is, how do I know what a good stock is? So what I decided to do is I decided to ask Chat GPT, what are the characteristics of a good stock? And Chat GPT was so nice enough to give me 12 particular characteristics that are good to look for a good stock. So let's go through all 12. Number one, strong financial performance. Look for companies with consistent revenue growth, increasing earnings, and a healthy balance sheet. Check their financial statements such as income statements, balance sheets, and cash flow statements. I have been preaching this for the last 2 years. You have to have companies with strong fundamentals, okay? Number two, competitive advantage. A good stock often belongs to a company with a sustainable competitive advantage, often referred to as an economic moat. This could be a unique product, a strong brand, a large customer base, or a technological edge. That's very, very key. Number three, market leadership. Okay, is this company in the top 2 of their industry to show you leadership strength? Number four, management and leadership. Competent and experienced management is crucial for a company's success. Look for companies with strong leadership that has a track record for making sound decisions. Number five, dividend history. Companies that have paid strong dividends over a long period of time and increased those dividends. Number six, low debt. It's very, very hard for a company to go out of business if it has low debt. Number seven, valuation. Pay attention to the stock's valuation relative to its earnings, sales, and other metrics. 8, growth potential. We need to understand if the company has the potential for growth in the industry that it is in. Does it have innovative products and services that have potential for significant growth in the future? Number 9, transparency and governance. Number 10, positive industry trends. Is it in an industry that is going in the correct direction? Number 11, liquidity. And number 12, diversification. 12 key metrics that we need to look at when we are saying, hey, what are the characteristics of a good stock? But the number one that they have right here is strong financial performance. So we understand that the artificial intelligence gave us some good information. It told us what are the top 10 performing stocks over the last 10 years. It told us what are the top ETFs on the stock market. It also told us about the characteristics of a good stock. But this is what we need to do. We need to verify. We need to look at a stock and we need to say, okay, what stock, okay, and I have a stock that we are going to look at that has the characteristics and the stock that has the strong financial performance and that measurement. So let's go on to the next page and let's look at the stock that I want to break down to give you the real deal example. Okay, everybody, so the company that I want to use as a case study to see if this particular company is a good stock to invest in is Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA. Disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but Tesla is the number one position in my portfolio and I own over 80 shares of this particular company. So the first thing I had to pull up the balance sheet because the balance sheet is very, very important. And what do we need to look for in this particular balance sheet? The first thing we need to look at is going to be current assets versus current liabilities. Let's just break that down very quickly here. Current assets is the money that is due to the business, that is due to the company over the next 12 months. So that lets you know what the company is going to be able to collect from an asset perspective. Current liabilities is money that the company will be paying out over the next 12 months. You want the current assets and the current liabilities. You want the current assets to be higher because that lets you know that the company will at least be solvent over the next year. Tesla has 43.8 billion in cash when we terms of current assets, 43.8 billion in terms of current assets and 27.5 billion in terms of current liabilities. So the company is doing very, very well from that standpoint. What's the second thing I want to notice? The second thing I want to look at is cash versus debt. The cash that the company has on its balance sheet versus its debt. The company has over $23 billion in cash, and it seems that the company only has about $3 billion in debt. I will say this again. It is very, very hard for a company to go out of business when it has very, very little debt. And this company knows how to collect this cash, hold on to its cash, and it knows how not to leverage debt. That's very, very important. The next thing I want us to look at is this company's revenue. We want to make sure that a company's revenue, a company's top line, is increasing year over year. And over the last few years, it's showing, the estimates are showing that the revenue will be increasing. In 2022, the company reported $81.5 billion in revenue. In 2023, the company is estimated to report over $100 billion in revenue, the first time ever in its history. That's amazing. 2024, $127 billion. 2025, $157 billion. In 2026, $177 billion. We are seeing that consistent year over year estimate trajectory in terms of revenue. We have to see that if we are going to be investing money into a business. The next thing that we got to tap into, y'all, is the profitability. And the profitability comes from the earnings. It comes from the EPS, the earnings per share. 2022, Tesla had $4.07 in terms of earnings per share. 2023 was showing a slight drop off, $3.42 in 2023, but we are expected to pick back up in 2024, $4.65. 2025, $5.83, and 2026, $7.29. So we are seeing that consistent increase, though, in the earnings per share year over year. That's what we need to see. Okay, we need to see the company increasing on the revenue side, which is what we saw, and we see the company increasing on the profitability side. Now, the last thing that I want us to look at when we are looking at characteristics of a stock is the technicals. Now, this is a monthly chart of Tesla stock. And if we look at this particular chart, this is a 10-year monthly chart. So every single candle represents 1 month. Now, if we look back to like 2012, 2013, this stock has been consolidating. It had a low of $7.74, consolidating, but it was continuing to moving higher. And then this stock had a meteoric rise during the pandemic, a meteoric rise, exponential rise to $414.50. But the stock came down drastically. It came down drastically, but we understand that this is the low. This is the low that the stock has made. And guess what? Now the stock is going back up in the uptrend. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low, I believe, because now we have reached key resistance around this $300 level. This stock is going to break this $300 level, get to 313, get to 321, and it's going to get back to this $414.50 level. But the stock at the end of the day is up higher now than what it was 10 years ago. And based on the earnings, based on the profitability, based on the balance sheet, based on management, based on what industry this particular company is in, Tesla is a company that I believe that you should have in your portfolio. But again, you have to do your research. We gave you the blueprint. We told you what were the best performing stocks over the last 10 years. We told you what are the largest ETFs on the stock market. We told you what make up characteristics of a good stock. 12 characteristics to make up a good stock. And then I broke down the 5 key metrics in terms of what you need to be looking for in terms of investing to a stock. I literally gave you the blueprint on how to use Chat GPT to help you become a millionaire and build wealth for your portfolio. Artificial intelligence is a great tool that we need to utilize to help us build wealth and to help us make money in the stock market. But again, it is a tool that you need to be able to use, you need to be able to leverage it, and you need to be able to utilize AI and be able to utilize that as a skill set to help you be able to generate wealth for yourself. As always, I appreciate you all for tapping into another episode of the Trade for Yourself podcast. Please like, please subscribe. Let me know which stock out of the list that I showed you you're going to do more research on. Are you going to invest in Apple? Are you going to invest in Microsoft, Tesla, Nvidia? Which stock is going to be that singular stock that is going to be that stranglehold in your portfolio? As always, remember, don't pay for it. Trade for it. I'm going to tap in with y'all in the next episode.